Okay, guys, welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to do a prediction for the upcoming strongest man on earth with none other than Evans Nana. How are you, mate?
But how you doing, Matt?
I'm good, thank you. I see you've been super active since World's Strongest Man on the Strongman Champions League circuit and just finished Iceland's Strongest Man. So, how was that for you?
It was really, it was a beautiful experience. I mean, people on the internet were asking how come a Ghanaian is doing Iceland this man and everything. So to people who didn't know, Iceland has this history of inviting foreigners, and I was lucky to be chosen by half Beyonce to come, help make this a big one. So I was just a guest lecturer, and my placement didn't mean anything to the overall points. So yeah, it was a fun experience with Paddy Haynes, and I got to learn from one of the best or one of the strongest men to work from on the half Beyonce.
Yeah, I
So
give
it
you
was
I give you a lot of credit, man, because you're very active across, straight from World's Strongest Man straight to Strongman Champions League over to Iceland. You're probably the most active strongman at that level at the moment. So I've got to give you a lot of credit for that.
thank you so much, Matt. It's not easy. Yeah? I mean,
No.
the goal is to make an impact in sports, like spread energy positivity and let people realize there's a proof in possibility. That's what I stand for.
Yeah, yeah, we see it. We see it wherever you are. There's good energy. People got good things to say about you. So long may it continue. So we'll get in the strongest man on earth. I'll just quickly read out the lineup. We've got Lucas Hatton, Trey Mitchell, Austin Andrade, Tom Stoltman, Maxime Boudreau, Josh Spurgeon, Evan Singleton, Bobby Thompson, Wes Dewinski, Thomas Evans, Andre Fochtu, Eddie Williams, Shane Flowers, Bryce Johnson, Tristan Hof, Nick Guardioni. So as always, a big lineup. We are missing this year Hafþór Bjornsson, who had other commitments, and then the withdrawal of World's Strongest Man Reino now, and the withdrawal of the current champion there, Mitchell Hooper. So, although a few guys are missing, I actually believe that it's made it a more interesting competition because last year, really, Mitchell and Thor were so far ahead. I think this has opened the doors. So I think from a spectacle to watch, this could be more interesting without those two guys that dominated last year. You agree?
Yeah, I do agree from an athlete's perspective. We don't want to see the same people win shows every time. We want to see a mixing match. Basically, Mitchell Cooper has nothing to prove from winning it last year. When he comes to this shape, he could be very dangerous. Half of Beyonce making his return to Strongman is a very big thing. I mean, being a fan and an athlete as well, of course, he has much potential, one of the strongest guys to walk the earth. And yeah, with these two people actually getting out, it makes the lineup very interesting, like you said. And
Yeah.
one person who I wishes he was Reno now, who obviously couldn't make it. So that would have been a very traumatic, and I'll be like traumatic, and you know what the fans would have loved to see, seeing these three guys compete.
Yeah. It's a shame, but I'm sure another year we'll see them all back there again. So as it is, we've got a great lineup. It's 2 days, 8 events. Of course, it's Brian Shaw, so it's very heavy. A lot of people will argue this really does determine who's the strongest man in the world. I think there's a good case for that. And we begin with
Yeah.
Max Log. Are we going to see a new American log lift record or even a world record from either Lucas or Trey or perhaps someone else you might think?
So to make reference to the previous world record, it's 231 kilos held by Olivi, which it's really heavy. People will look at 230 kilos to be nothing overhead. But for a guy like Bibi who weighed 200 kilos and only participated in the log lift, showed so much effort and so much left. But for these guys to do 7 more events after the log lift, we'll be looking forward to just scoring points. So I do believe the American record is in the fall, which stands at 215.8 kilos. And our most potential to break the record is Lucas Hatton. He's
Mhm.
already done that in training very comfortably. And you can look at Trey Mitchell, which was obviously the favorite because he's won the log lift previously. Yes, not forgetting him being the two-time champion of the Shop Classic, one of the strongest men on earth. So this is what I think actually this year the must love it.
hmm I mean, there's other factors here. One is altitude, and no doubt that affects the lift. So probably it's going to be more difficult to do this at altitude than in training. And also, the guys have to pick their weights. It's like the deadlift, for example, we start at Arnold's, and therefore you've got to be slightly tactical. And it might not be a good idea to go for your absolute max in terms of the whole competition. So that also may play into this.
I think Brian has done a good job with giving athletes the freedom to choose their own weights. Because basically, when weight is being forced to you, it kind of affects your performances. So it's going to come down to experience. It's going to come down to what you could do. It's going to come down to like the cost the athlete would like to play. Because you need to be very smart. And like you said, the altitude is very different as compared to training. You've got people traveling, Ed Williams traveling from Australia. You've got Shane Flowers traveling from the UK. Tom Stockman traveling from the UK. That's going to make a big difference and have an impact. And even in the US, people traveling from different places because the temperature is different at different places. So that's going to play a big role. But like I said, the most experienced athletes would actually play the good cards. So you're looking at Trey once again, Lucas Hatton, because these people do have confidence. And like they say, what you do in training is what you're comfortable to do. Breaking the American record with 1 kilo is still a record break. So that's what I think they're going to be looking forward to doing.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think people need to watch out for Andrade and also Foch too, also in this event. And I think it would be very important for like Tom Stoltman, Evan Singleton, who are contenders for the overall prize, to try and get ahead of those two guys. Because if those two guys get between them and Lucas and Trey, you already got quite a big points gap opening up.
I mean, it's interesting you mentioned Tochi. The guy is 23, almost 24, and has so much potential. I do personally believe, without injuries, he's going to be taking on the world longest record one day. Tochi is very dangerous, and I think he's capable of pressing to 20 kilos if temperature difference doesn't affect him. So this guy is also going to be looking forward to coming between all these top athletes, which is going to be very, very strange after the first event. So I think the first event, the maximum love lift, is going to leave everyone in shock on out because we don't know what is really going to be happening.
Mhm.
Points coming in there. And not to forget Osman Andrade. The guy is really built for pressing and is a very good athlete. He has more experience as well. It is going to be interesting. I can't wait to look forward to
So who have you got winning that event, Lucas or Trey? Put you on
that.
the spot.
um, you know, from records from the Giants live, that was in a lovely medley. Lucas was faster than Trey, but I think Trey has more composure and more experience with these type of shows. And having won the log lift in the previous show from the strongest man on net, it's going to be boosting his confidence. So I would like to put my money on Lucas, sorry, Trey Mitchell to kind of like power through from this event. Because every show is different. World strongest man is different, strongest left is different, and strongest man on net is different. So I think following closely is going to be Lucas Hassan for sure,
Mhm.
or it's going to be a draw. So I'm looking forward for Trey to win, Lucas following closely, or a draw with this.
Mhm. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Event two, there's actually some debate over this. Some saying event two is the keg toss, and some are saying it's the frame carry into hoist. Let's go with keg toss for max weight. That's as I understood what it was going to be. Um, who are you picking for this?
Peter Frank Shane Flowers should be the obvious favorite. Of course, you have West Lewinsky from records. But the kick changes everything because back crosses is different from kick crosses. Tom Stockman has been built or is built to actually fall through with Bryce Johnson, looking at the high differences compared to the others. So for a safe bet, Tom Stockman actually is going to be falling through for this event. And I think following close is going to be Bryce Johnson. If he doesn't get too nervous because he has what it takes to, he has the stature, the form to be able to like comfortably toss as compared to the other Shane Flowers is going to be looking forward to falling through because with his height you'd have to require more power to like get to do what Tom Stockman and Bryce Jones will be doing. West Lewinsky is very good as well, and not to forget Max Boudreau. The guy is really good tosser and has some good experience in there as well. So these top five guys
It's,
are going to be looking forward to challenging
yeah,
them. That's
you're
what
right.
I'm thinking. Though. That's what
Yeah, you're right. The Canadians are generally always very good at this type of event. So you're right. There's all those guys in the mix. I would say of everybody in this, an interesting thing would be Lucas Hatton. We all know the secret to winning strongman competitions is consistency. So this is the danger event on paper for Lucas Hatton, where if he falls out of, say, the top 7 or 8, it could cost him the whole competition. So I think he is the one that we've got to keep an eye on here because if he does well in this event, finishes in the top, say, 6, I think it bodes very well for the overall competition.
I do agree. Consistency steals strongman. Most people forget strongman is not like powerlifting where you have to like only focus on static lifts. And it's really nice. Brian is bringing some sort of like dynamic throws in here, which is going to test athleticism, force the speed, and the strength, yeah, all combined. So Lucas is going to be looking forward to doing the damage control here. Because
Mhm.
don't forget, we have 16 athletes, and that really, causes an impact on what you're going to be facing.
Yeah.
So coming middle of the pack is what Lucas should be looking forward to. Not losing too much points to be able to make the podium at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got Shane, Tom, Evan on paper doing very well here, but Maxime, if he's in good condition, I could see him even winning it because Maxime is great at this type of event when he's fully fit. He's just a bit of an unknown after so many injuries and things, but he could definitely at the very least kind of get in the mix and in between guys in overall contention, I think. So again, interesting
One
event.
more person, one more person I forgot to mention on this event was also built to the good standard is Evan Singleton.
Hmm.
Evans has potential. Like I said, looking at every event, including this one, he almost has no weaknesses.
Yeah.
So, like I said, consistent is the name of the game, and he's going to be looking forward to staying consistent.
Yeah.
Top four, top 10, top five. He's going
Hmm.
to be scoring events some serious points here.
Hmm. Yeah, I see it like that. I see overall the events look great on paper for Evan, but he's never been able to put it together at a major competition. So that's what we've got to see if he finally does. Then we go into the next event, which is a frame carry into hoist. Now, we just talked about Lucas having a danger event on the one before, and this is the danger event for Trey Mitchell. Is this the moment where
Yeah,
Trey can handle the frame, or is this again gonna blow his whole competition?
that's a very good question because being an athlete in the fun, I've been in positions where I'm not too good in track pools. So anytime I have track pools, I kind of have this that aura around me and I kind of get into my head. So,
Hmm.
putting this into perspective, Trey is really going to be very nervous because he's already shown at the Giants Live recently not being able to even lift it up. And this man is capable of deadlifting 470 kilos raw, being able to like power through on the Hercules hold and not being able to transition this onto the frame carries. Like, it's pretty sad. And yeah, Trey's a very good man, and I think that's going to be a very detrimental event for him.
Hmm.
So he's going to be looking forward to like scoring a few points to the distance. So if it was the other way around, he would have done a good job. But this time around, he has to start with a frame. So
Yeah,
that's really going to be hard.
yeah,
And not forgetting Lucas Hatton as well, because Lucas was not really able to finish the frame. I don't know what his stance is going to be, but Lucas is the guy that comes with full of surprises. So basically,
yeah.
yeah, these two athletes are going to be looking forward to damage control.
But we saw Lucas do fine at the Arnolds on the frame, so we know he is capable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lucas, like I said, is full of surprises. He's built differently. He's really, really strong, big, and also very athletic. So
Mhm.
it depends on how he feels like with these events. I was thinking he was going to put on some weights, which sometimes affects the grip, basically.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So, who have you got winning this event? Frame carrying to hoist. I think Evan Singleton on paper probably is the favorite for this.
You're right. I also have Evans, but I also had a four athletes. Watch the Winsky. It's pretty good on this event
Hmm.
because I've been following West for some time and it's really good. Not forgetting the Magnus Classic. He came top half of the arm over arm because it was one of the heaviest. And as compared to Kliskowski, he really powered through. Not forgetting Christian Holt as well, pretty good on this event. So basically, the Canadians and Maxime Boudron when he comes in shape. Um, an interesting pick here for me was also Eddie William.
Hmm.
Eddie is pretty good on the frame, and should be looking forward to pulling out there. Tom Stockman as well. And you have Nick Gladion, who I think is going to be surprising people here. Yeah, he's pretty good on
Yeah.
the frame, and I think if he can pull through on the arm over arm, he scored very good points.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Bryce Johnson. This
You're naming them all.
is, no, 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 I couldn't come up with a specific person to win this, but I think the person who's most comfortable to win this would be Tom Stockman.
Hmm. Yeah.
If
We
he
haven't
comes in
mentioned
really,
much so
really well
far,
in
but
shape,
yeah.
Tom Stockman in a
Yeah.
because at World
Yeah.
Strongman he also had a voice, and he was really good at it.
Hmm.
Literally, he came in second, I think, next to NNL or third, top three in this event. Yeah, so he kind of has some experience there.
Yeah. You're right. There's just so many
Yeah,
guys in
it's gonna be a difficult one.
Yeah, it really is. And people like Bryce Johnson, these people, Eddie Williams, we can see they're on, a sharp rise in the sport. They're definitely going to do very well in events here. I just think overall, the strongest man on earth experience really does count. That's why I'm looking more towards kind of Lucas, Trey, Tom, Andrade, who've been in that kind of top five, six spots previously. But there's no doubt these other guys are going to get in the points here and there, and that probably will determine in the end who ends up on the podium. But again, another interesting event, isn't it? And then the last event, Evans, on day one, the manhood stones. Now, last year, Tom made a fatal error on this and selected too heavy to begin with and couldn't lift it, even though, of course, he would have been favourite for this event. I don't think he's going to make that same mistake this year, do you?
Yeah, Tom is still growing, not forgetting. He's still learning, and just like any other athletes, he's going to be looking forward to redeeming himself in his favorite events. So, of course, he's the albatross, king of the stones. And yeah, I think he's going to be very smart here, in pushing through, making good selections.
Yeah.
And also having choosing coach is going to be a very big effect of his choices as well.
I mean, we've got Shane Flowers, of course, he's looking great on stones in training and everything. He's been very good at them. We haven't talked about him much so far. Trey Mitchell, we know, is great on stones. And then again, Andrade, Bryce Johnson, all these guys, it's very difficult to know where they'll fall between, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. I think we're very close between all these guys. I expect Tom this time to get the job done, but the other guys, and again, Lucas Hatton needs to make sure he holds on here because I'm sure Trey's going to do very well. Lucas doesn't need kind of three or four guys between him and Trey and Tom. So again, perhaps a danger event for him.
You've already said consistency is the name of the game, and being consistent on day one especially is going to power through day two. And not forgetting talking about Shane Flowers, the English stone lifting scene has been very exceptionally good. Talking of Paddy Haynes, talking of Shane Flowers, who recently had the heaviest stone run ever so far. Starting with the 200 kilos to 240.
Yeah.
And you having Tom Stockman himself, and you having people like Ken Francis. So
Hmm.
the English stone team has been really maximized, and it's been really exceptional as
Hmm.
compared to previous years. So I'm looking forward to Shane doing a very, very good job here. Trying to catch up with the big boys.
Hmm.
Austin Andrade has proved himself over and over and over again. Looking at the outlots, his performance to the stone to show that was exceptionally good. You could see the grit and the perseverance in pushing through, and the composure he had. And of course, Trey Mitchell as well. I mean, not forgetting Lucas Hatton being the basketball lifter. Lucas is pretty good on stones, you
Evans,
know.
we're
And
we're
like
at the end of we're at the end of day one, and it seems like we've got no idea. It's like everybody, but that's great. That's absolutely great if it's like that. Who are you picking to be in the lead after day one? Although I've probably only got him winning one event, I feel like Tom Stoltman is probably on balance who I would have slightly in the lead. Do you agree with that?
exactly.
Yeah.
I do agree perfectly with stuff, man. I had Evan Singleton to be coming in, and
Hmm.
I had Austin Andrade actually, surprisingly, and two other wild cards I had here was Tom Evans and Shane Flowers to be
Hmm.
pouring through, and they won. So
Yeah.
like we both agree on Tom Stockman. I think Evan Singleton is going to be pouring through, and Oscar Andrade, but they won. And the two wild cards I had here was Tom Evans and Shane Flowers.
Hmm.
For sure, they won.
Then the athletes are going to go and eat. They're going to go and sleep. They're going to go eat again. They're going to feel sore, but then they've got to come back and do trap bar deadlift.
I mean, I love the way you put it, yeah, because most strongman fans forget like they go, they come back, and they feel sore. And even not forgetting sleep is sometimes hard. Trust me, when you have a 2 day, 3 day competition, because you
Hmm.
get to bed, with this in your head as an athlete, and that's me talking from an athlete's perspective. It
Yeah,
comes with so much pressure. Most fans don't even realize and see, you
yeah,
know.
exactly, exactly. It's all the bits people don't see. Trap bar deadlift. It's from a pretty low
Whew.
position. It's thick handles, of course. Then it's neutral grip. What are you expecting for a kind of winning weight? I'm thinking somewhere around the 500 kilos, 1,100 pound mark. Do you think that's realistic or more or less?
That's more that's more realistic because as compared to normal deadlifts, the side handle or top bar should be, pretty good for other athletes. And as a matter of fact, top athletes, because they do have a shorter, range of motion
Yeah.
as compared to the longer guys.
Yeah.
Because and people like Trey Mitchell, Austin Andrade, Thomas Evans, Bobby Thompson will be looking forward to doing exceptionally good here.
Yeah.
And one crazy guy, Evan Singleton, who's not too stout, is gonna be looking forward to powering through here. Because
Yeah.
Evans has the aggression, he has the power, he has the force to push through on this event.
Hmm. So this probably could be a dangerous event for Tom Stoltman because all the people you just listed there, Bobby, Trey, Lucas, Austin, Bryce, Evan, potentially could all get ahead of Tom, I think, on this event. Not that Tom's
Yeah,
bad at it, it's just those guys are so good at it. And so if Tom was to drop a lot of points here, he could immediately lose that kind of good points that he's built up on day one.
I do, I do completely agree with you. That's why he needs to push through on day one. Day one is really going to set the tone for Tom to kind of do a damage control for day two.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
needs to be very smart on his phones. He needs to be very smart on the max weight tech toss because he can win it potentially. So he needs to win the event, which he's good at,
yeah,
basically. That's what is
exactly.
going to assure Tom to be on the podium state.
Yeah, yeah. Then we go into the safe carry. Heavy yoke is effectively what that is, and it's very heavy yoke. Some people love this event. Actually, I've got to be honest, overall, I like all these events, but I don't particularly like this. I just feel like it's dangerous. After what happened at the Arnold's all the years ago, the bale yoke, that's my only thing about it. It still looks good, but I don't particularly like it. However, as I understand, it's a 20-foot course, and they all begin with a 1,200 pound approximately yoke, which is 545 kilograms. And those that complete round one go to round two, which will be approximately 1,400 kilogram. These are crazy numbers. Sorry, 1,400 pounds, 635 kilogram in the second round. But this is seriously heavy, yeah?
I had a talk with Half Confidence, and this week, and one of the most horrendous events he had was a box yoke because he told me he almost broke his back. I'm laughing because it reminds me of Mike Tyson when he lost the fight or like he won the fight and he said, I broke my back.
Yeah,
You
that's right.
know, stuff like that. So Tom was really, really, really like, I don't know, he was in the mixed feelings like, man, I almost broke my back. Because I think he had, was it 700 kilos on his back in the Arnold's. And that was one of the events he said he really, really wished he could have like escaped because it was
Yeah,
so detrimental to his career.
yeah,
And I'm praying and I'm looking forward to no one getting injured. Because once you competing and for the other athletes, they're trying to score points here. So they're going to be looking forward to pushing through. And that's where dangers comes in. So I'm hoping and I'm praying we see no injury here, but the weights are just so horrendous. And yeah,
yeah.
this event particularly is built for start guys, to be very honest. Because when you start, you kind of have a short pickup and you can
Mhm.
power through. We've seen Lucas Patton do really nice numbers in the gym because of his stature, broad, thick, broad, big, and stout. You have an athlete like Thomas Evans, who's really going to be doing good here.
Are you reading your
And
predictions off the phone,
Austin
or is this
Andrade,
Chat GPT?
never. I literally prepared for this conversation. So to people who don't know this, Matt gave me like a 1 hour gap here, where I had to go back, do my research from strength results and everything. And I wish ChatGPT knew this literally, because wait, let me show.
I'm the same,
Uh,
ironically.
this is my notes. This is my notes on my phone. So I
Mhm.
literally prepared to one
Yeah,
hour course and I look for the stats and data. So
I
yeah,
did the same. I did the same.
because I love to yoke walk as well. Because I'm not too tall. So my pickup is pretty easy. It's like
Yeah,
a quarter squat. But then if you're a big guy, you need to really squat it fully up. That's going to have an impact on your power. And one wrong move, one wrong turn is really going to cost you a lot of stuff.
yeah,
And dropping this yoke is going to cost you so much because you have to re-pick it up again.
yeah.
And it's
This
going
is
to be
about
very,
distance though, especially the guys that get to the second round. Yeah, this is really they're not going to worry about racing. I think it's just who can get the furthest, and maybe someone will get to the finish line. But 1,400
yeah.
pounds, 635. And we've got to remember this is event number six as well. It's not like they're coming in fresh. That's the thing.
I feel like most athletes will not be able to pass through to the next round. Or some athletes will be dropping out from this round, really.
Yeah,
Because as an athlete, you want to be very smart. You want to go to war and come back home safe. War, I said, competition. So you need to be very smart here. And most athletes are going to be looking forward to, like, trying to do the bare minimum for max points.
Hmm.
Because no one wants to go for world record here. No one wants to be the hero here. It's all about, like, sharing and mixing points. And actually, I think the person who gets to go last on this will have a better advantage
Of
to
course,
see
yeah.
where it can go.
Distance. Who are you picking to win this
Yeah.
event?
Um, hmm. Like I said, this event is built for stout guys. I forgot to mention Eddie William. Eddie
Mhm.
William is really good in the yoke. No, most people don't really realize this
Yeah.
because
And another
they give him
huge
a
guy.
yoke, yeah, from a Giants life. He's really fast with it.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a thousand pounds, so that's 450 kilo plus.
Mhm.
But we yet to see him do a heavy yoke, but he's pretty good and stable on that. Evan Singleton is pretty good on that as well. So
Mhm.
these are the two tall guys, making references to the stout guys.
Yeah.
Not to forget, these are the two outcasts who, like, regardless of weight and stature, you could power through. So with this, I couldn't really have a solid prediction, but I think Eddie Williams might be falling through with Evan Singleton.
Yeah.
That's an odd one to say.
Mm. It's interesting. I think it's so heavy for me that brings Lucas and Trey right back into the conversation in the mix with those guys on this event. If it was lighter, I would definitely go with like Evan and Eddie. But because of the weight, because of all the weight that they've done before this, I just feel like Trey and Lucas might get the jump on them on here, but it's hard to know.
You were right. So, like, I mean, if I was like Eddie William, I'm gonna be looking forward to reserving some energy from previous events
Hmm.
because, like you said, consistency and also winning the event and scoring points is the name of the game. So Eddie is exceptionally good on the yoke run, and that's where he could potentially score points. So he needs to kind of like have a strategy. If I was him, have a strategy where he could also like push everything into the safe carry and
Yeah.
score as much as points. Because let's be honest, like Trey Mitchell is going to be going all in through the way,
Mm.
which is going to have an impact on his energy. Lucas
Yeah.
Hatton is going to be going all the way in. This is from an athlete's perspective. So you need to like play your cards really well. So if Eddie Williams should play his cards really well, saving energy, he could power through. This is the event for Eddie Williams. I do believe in my heart wholeheartedly.
Yeah. Yeah. I could see it. Right. Penultimate event, standing chest press. Controversial event. Some fans love it, some are unsure. Someone we haven't even talked about at all yet, Evans, is Tom Evans. And he came second in this event last time they had it to Brian Shaw. So he's got proven track record in this event. We haven't even mentioned him yet, but he's another guy that could do very well in certain events and perhaps on paper should be favorite for this event.
You have been in the sports for a month. What is your honest reaction to this? Because I'm very new to this, and I've never had any sort of precedent event where it includes a chest press. But what is your honest reaction to this event specifically?
I'm all for strongman constantly having different events. One of the beauties of the sport is you can have absolutely anything. So I don't like the fact that so often we see the repetitive events across all different, organizations. So I'm all for what Brian does of bringing different things into it. People argue, of course, about, danger of a pec tear and things like that. I do believe that if this event wasn't in there, perhaps there was more chance that Hafthor Bjornsson would have been competing there. So, factors like that come into it. Um, do I like it? I think it's okay. I'm not totally against like an event like this. It's just a very difficult competition overall. But like I say, at the end of the day, I'm more glad to see Brian doing events that people aren't doing elsewhere because it keeps the sport more interesting. So overall, yeah, I'm for it. And if we get different people doing well in this event, that's also a good thing. Like I say, I can see Tom Evans beating the guys in this one. So yeah, overall, I'm for it. I understand the dangers of it, but at the end of the day, it's a strength test. It's strongman, and it's there. So yeah, I'm okay with it.
I think that's fair enough, really, because like I'm learning and I'm still like getting my opinion. So what you just said actually rang a bell in my head, and I think yeah, the dynamics of the sports should get to a better level, and this is going to
Hmm.
be pushing promoters to kind of
Hmm.
implement all of these sort of like things in there. But then again, not forgetting Brian injured himself from the same event he actually made 2 years ago.
Yeah, I know.
That
I know.
was just by the way. So yeah,
Yeah,
Thomas Evans, very interesting athlete.
yeah,
Um, he came second in this 2 years ago, right? If
yeah,
I'm right.
yeah.
Thomas should be looking forward to scoring more points here. because as his event, he has more experience and he knows what to do. And one guy who should always who's always brutal and always intense when he's in shape, Evan Singleton.
Yeah.
So he's also my wild card here.
Yeah.
You need all things we need for and he being in good shape.
Mhm.
So Thomas Evans is very dangerous. He should potentially win. Josh Spurgeon. Josh,
Mhm.
Josh to really come good in here. I've
Yeah.
been watching his training on this particular um chest press and he's really doing good. He's been training on similar equipment. So I'm looking forward for him, pushing to top three at least,
Yeah.
which is going to be very interesting because he won the Show Classic last year, which gave him his pro card to do the Strongest Man in that this year. So I'm going to be looking forward for him, trying to make an impression
Yeah.
on this particular event.
So it's interesting. The guys who are probably in contention to podium probably or might not be the guys in contention to be top three in this event, which is interesting. So then we go into the final event. It was tire flip into power stairs, but he's changed the tire flip, Brian, to a front carry. And there's a rumor that the front carry is an anchor carry. I think that's not official yet, but some kind of front carry, let's say, into power stairs. Probably a great event for Evan on paper. Lucas did very well in this last year to secure third place. Yeah, Tom Stoltman should be very good at this. And yeah, how do you see this one going? This is to win.
I really, really like the fact that Brian took out the tire flip because starting my career, I've seen four people promote their biceps,
Biceps, yeah.
regardless. Because once you're competing, you're out of your comfort zone and you're trying to go as fast as possible. So Brian, if you're watching this, thank you so much. It gives people like myself hope. It was a very brutal event. And with a front carry, I think, if I'm right, it was supposed to be an iron
Mhm.
cross carry into a pass there. So, like you said, it could be an encore carry. So
Yeah.
we yet to still see what is going to happen. But however, the people I see doing really good, and this is Lucas Hatton, Thomas Evans, Austin Andrade, and of course Evan Singleton to power through. So these
Yeah.
are my top 4 or 5.
Okay.
So really, really good.
Have you got your crystal ball there? Because now I'm going to ask you for podium prediction. I'll just reel mine off straight off the bat. Here's how I see it. I see Lucas
Yeah,
Hatton, Tom Stoltman, Trey Mitchell. I
correct,
feel Trey is
correct.
going to cost himself on the frame. Tom has got a very good chance of winning overall as long as Lucas does okay in the keg toss, which I think he probably will without Thor,
Correct.
without other guys there. That's how I see it. So I've got Lucas, Tom, Trey, but if Evan and Andrade were anywhere on that podium, including first, it wouldn't surprise me.
Exactly. Evan Singleton has my weaknesses. And we started this video by saying consistency is the name of the game. Evans, if he should be really coming focused, composed, because recently he just changed his coach, that could be a winning factor for him. Evans is hungry because afterwards, carrying his biceps, he's more than hungry to really doing good. So Evan Singleton, like I said, if he coming composed, and if he should place in anything between the fourth and fifth place in every single event, that could really score him good points. And recently coming off from a Giants Live winning streak, he should be able to do good because some similar events, come up here. So
Mhm.
Evan, to me, has the potential of winning the show. Most people wouldn't put it there, but Evan really, really is looking really good here. Looking very, very good and dangerous. Austin Andrade, he's exceptionally good athlete and he's been mastering his craft year by year. And he's built for these type of shows, very athletic, very smart in weight choosing, and very precise as well. Of course, the obvious ones, Trey Mitchell, like you already mentioned, Lucas Hatton. If he could push through the check toss, that's my only fear for Lucas and how much damage control he could do. Tom Stockman has experience with the Show Classic, and it's time for him to put everything together and power through. Tom is a very good athlete, and when it comes to mindset, of course, I hope he's able to really compose himself, push through, and be the best athlete that everyone expects him to be. Because most people have been speculating he's only good on World Strongest Man, but then I really do believe he has potential to power through and be one of the greatest strongmen as he's already achieved. So Tom, it's Tom's time to really prove to the world what he's made up of. Trey Mitchell, of course, has won this twice. When it was a Show Classic, not to forget, and coming down to the strongest man on earth. Trey is the rightful heir to the throne. I mean, most strongmen fans
Having said all of that, who are you picking as your one, two, three on the podium?
being Tom. Trey, Austin, not in any specific form, obviously. Any one of them could come in. No, no, sorry, Lucas. Any one of them could come in the two outcasts, which are true. Evan Singleton and Austin Andrade. That's my top five. Top three and exceptional two coming in. Sorry.
Okay, it is confusing. I have got top five: Lucas, Tom, Trey, Evan, Andrade, but I just think Lucas, Tom, Trey is my pick. But no doubt, like all these other guys we've mentioned just a little bit, Shane, Eddie, Bobby, Bryce, Maxime, they're definitely going to have good events. And this year, because we've got no one as consistent as someone like Hooper there, I really think the determining factor will be that group of guys, how many of them get between the guys who are in contention to win this overall. It's really interesting, and yeah, I think it's going to be a great comp.
The new champion, always. And we might be seeing history, like looking at the American log lift that have been falling and setting the pace for the world record lift to be broken next year. It's
Hmm.
all going to be determined in this competition. And that's how important this competition is. It's going to show us so much about the future. And it's going to set the tone for Strongman for the next few years. Because, Brian is doing a good job in raising the standards. And I do believe there's really going to be a fun watch after finalists and athletes, aspiring to compete there one day. So then again, yeah, it is really festive. What a time to be alive in Strongman. What a chance to see this. What a time to experience this.
That's it. And what year are you going to win this competition?
But this is a very, very good question. Let's start off by trying to podium up in the giant slide. And, maybe let's say win the SCL giant slide. And, yeah, we see what happens. Because, like I said, not everyone could win most strongest men. Not everyone could win strongest man on earth. Not everyone could podium. But then, most people could, make a change and cause for a good cause in the sports. And I'm up for that. I would like to win these shows for sure. I'm very competitive. But then again, I'm in to set a pace for like a different tone and being the first Ghanaian athletes to do this. I'd love to spread positivity and show what the sports is made up of. So I hope to win this in the next 5 years. If I could put on some decent weight, add on some more experiences, build up my network out. But that was a very good question, Matt.
Okay, man. Well,
Yeah,
look, we wish you well. We were very glad to hear your opinion, your predictions, and soon we're going to find out how wrong we were with all of this. But anyway, it's
so
going to be interesting to watch.
before this ends, I'd like to say a big thank you to yourself, to each and everyone who supports the sports, because the sports has been growing. You've been in the sports for quite some time. Thank you for everything you do. And yeah, to those who are watching this channel, thank you. Keep watching. Of course, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, because your opinion really matters. We're just here to make suggestions. But then again, your opinion really matters. Like Matt said, let's see how wrong we could be. So nothing personal, all love to every athlete. And good luck to 16 athletes this weekend. Let's go.
Good man. Catch you soon.